This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com. This Survivor Series has 244,000 buys on pay-per-view. That is actually up from 2009. It sold 225,000. But the previous year was in the 300,000. So we're certainly on a bit of a decline. This was the 24th Survivor Series, and the poster for this event had Wade Barrett of Nexus on there. It's kind of crazy to think that, he's on the poster for one of the biggest tentpole events of the year. And as you like to say, we've already cut his water off.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, it didn't have to be that way. Nexus had the numbers. They had the young lions, which is a bit of a cliche, all grouped together, pulling in one direction. And the numbers they had, you could have ran with those guys just getting heat week after week after week, and the numbers being what was causing it. And you can't half-ass it, though. It's one of those situations where John Cena was a guy that was stuck in the middle and under the gun and all that. Well, those guys should have prevailed every single week over the guys they were singling out, the Randy Ortons of the world, the John Cenas of the world. And, even up to the Undertaker, when you got 8 guys, you could do a lot of damage. And I think when you put just Wade out there, why wouldn't all of Nexus been on that poster?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess they thought at this point Wade Barrett was going to be the guy. And of course, we know what happened at SummerSlam. We should remind everybody that there were stakes at Hell in a Cell, and we've talked about that. John Cena had to join Nexus. The Nexus leader, Wade Barrett, here is going to be, at least on Raw, the main feud is going to be Wade Barrett taking on Randy Orton for his WWE Championship. John Cena is going to be the special guest referee. And remember, he's part of Nexus. You can imagine what happens there. And on the November 8th episode of Raw, the general manager makes a stipulation that this match here can only be won by pinfall or submission. And in addition to that, the other members of Nexus are banned from ringside. So the concept here is, if Barrett doesn't win the title, then he would have Cena fired. So that's sort of his incentive, I guess, to not screw Wade Barrett around. And in addition to that, if Barrett does win the title, Barrett is going to relieve John Cena from his obligation to Nexus. So it feels like the fix is in. This might finally be Nexus's night. We've got Heath Slater teaming with Justin Gabriel. They're going to retain the tag titles, beating Santino Marella and Vladimir Kozlov. It goes 5 minutes and 8 seconds. Meltzer didn't love it, and he gives it 3/4 of a star. He does note that the crowd was super into Santino, and he says the match got good reactions, even though it was supposed to be the death spot. The finish sees Marella get a hot tag as they use Kozlov to sell. He goes for the Cobra, but David Otunga and Michael McGillicuddy jump on the apron. Marella was distracted. Slater uses the necktie for the pin. And that's all she wrote. Santino was over in this era as a comedy gimmick. We don't see Kozlov anymore. Heath Slater, we know he's got kids, and he's doing a great job now with Impact. Justin Gabriel is a name we don't hear about very much anymore either. What'd you think of these performers or the match?
Well, Justin's still floating around. I've seen him on Ring of Honor, and performing in empty arenas like we all have to do. And it's very difficult. He's still got something left. That's for sure. Slater, I'm a fan of his. He suffered a pretty bad injury, a few weeks back.
Oh yeah. He had a groin thing, maybe a hernia thing or something like that on pay-per-view.
Both.
Yeah.
He got both. So surgery warranted. He's going to be on the way back, and hey, if there's a good time to be out, hurt,
now's
healing
the
up,
time. Yeah.
It's probably now. Not a lot you're missing, if you have to be, if it's in the cards for you. But yeah, I mean, all those guys are great performers, and Kozlov, who was a monster Sambo champion, which doesn't necessarily translate as being what we do. And, He nice guy, thank God, killer, probably legitimate killer. But Santino was the star of that whole show, and just very entertaining. Had such a grasp for that character, and the audience really enjoyed him.
Real quick, I want to correct myself. You're exactly right. Justin Gabriel is PJ Black now. You caught me twice today, Arn. Momentary lapses. But PJ Black, you can see tearing it up on Ring of Honor. Very talented performer, and when I see the name, just went blank. Didn't realize the same guy. Let's get to our main.
He's hiding behind another gimmick.
Yeah. Well, you know what? PJ Black is a kind of a cooler name than Justin Gabriel, at least in my opinion.
Yes, you're right.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.